Hello and welcome to another Oasys Top Tips. Did you know that you can add background images and watermarks to the model windows in Oasys Primer and D3PLOT? So I've got the Honda Accord model open in Primer 17 and I'm going to show you how to add a background image to this model first of all. So go to Images, go to Background Image under the Read options and then click and find the file. So in this case I've already preloaded some images and I've downloaded this royalty-free image of a wet road, so I'm going to click on that, give it a second, and it's going to fill the background. Now this is quite a big image, so I'm going to put some scaling on, 0.2. That fits reasonably well, and I'm going to just stretch this using the stretch width to height button, and then that makes it fit in within the window area. So now I'm going to just move the car. I could manually position this myself using some scaling, or what I'm going to show you is the adjust view to image options. So when I select on this, it's going to ask me if I want to show in perspective mode, and I do because the image has perspective. It's got some vanishing points there. And first of all, then I'm going to add some points. I'm just going to get a good view of the car so I can see all these wheels, and then move it out of the way and minimize it a bit and add some points. So first I'm going to add the front wheel, and that front right wheel can go approximately here. Then the front left wheel, and that would be similar distance, so maybe here. Now this bit's the hard bit. I've got to figure out how far back the car would be. So we'll see how this comes out, but I'm guessing the back wheels would be somewhere about here. And then the back left wheel. The more points you give it, the more accurate it's going to be. So we'll see how this comes out. Try and get it on the same line. At this point, it could either place it top down or upside down. So I'm just going to give it another point to define where the roof is going to go. So I'm just going to click here and then just imagine the car here, and that's roughly in the middle of the car and up. So let's say there. So I'll calculate the view, see what happens. So you see I didn't do a great job there, but it's quite close. There's a bit of distortion there. So if I'd done that better, I would get a different view. And then I can move the car around and adjust it based on those anchor points. So there's a bit of distortion at the front. I've not got my perspective right, but you can see how this can be very powerful to place things within a model. Okay, so once you're happy with your view, you can then close down the match options and you'll see it appears there. Now if you ever want to turn the background off, you can click on there or revert back. And you might want to save this view using the view options and save. But that's how you add a background image to a model. Now I've moved over to Oasys D3PLOT for this, and I'm going to show you how you can add watermarks to your model. So here we have a crash test of a car going into the wall, and we'll pause it there. And then I'm going to go to Images, and this time I'm going to select Watermark. And I'm going to go up to the top and read in the file name. And this time I'm going to select a watermark. So for this model, suppose it's confidential, I might want to add a confidential watermark. So I've made one here, it's a JPEG, double click on it. First of all, it appears over the model and it's got 20% opacity at the moment. So the next thing I'll do is I'll select the transparent color. So I could either select white or red in this case for the confidential. I'll select the white one. And now we see just the text appearing. Now notice this is flickering a little bit. That's because the watermark is being drawn over the model, and for some operations or you have a very complicated watermark or lots of them, this can really slow down rendering, so you might want to use the toggle on off options here. Okay, now first of all we see that that is going over the edge of the screen, so we'll change the scaling of that. Change the scaling to 50%. And then we have some other options here. We could use tiled, in which case it just repeats that multiple times. And I've got different scaling options as well. Then I could change the adjustment of where these fit. So I'm just going to leave it centered, but that's how the watermarks work. And you of course can change the opacity. So you could have it fully opaque, or you could have completely transparent. So in this situation, then I can animate the model and I would have confidential running over. This would be if I was exporting some images, so either a static image or a movie. You could also have your company logo, so I'll just quickly show you how to do that. For example, in this situation, I'll just select the ARP one, and then I'll change the opacity, and I might change the scaling as well. So I could add center, scale to height, or I could scale it much smaller, 0.2, and then have tiled and lots of these appearing. So that shows you some of the power of the Oasys suite in Primer and D3PLOT with adding watermarks and background images. I hope you find this useful in your projects, and come back next time for more Oasys top tips.